Bonjour mes amis, je m'appelle Tito, je fais des vidéos sur les finances personnelles sur mon autre chaîne, mais sur cette chaîne, je parle d'autres choses comme aujourd'hui où je vais revoir la série Beyond the Veil Season 2. 6 months after some tragic events take place in their lives, 4 Abuja-based friends try to get their lives back on track as they navigate new challenges around love, marriage, family, loss, and abuse. Beyond the Veil is created by Nadine Ibrahim and Sifa Asani Gowon. Alright guys, so this review will contain spoilers because Beyond the Veil Season 2 is available right now on Prime Video, so you can go and watch it, right? Especially if you don't want to hear any spoilers from me. So there's that. I also have to say that this review is going to be a bit weird for me, but in a good way. If you've seen my review of Season 1 of Beyond the Veil, which was done in March of 2023, over a year ago, you'll hear that, I stumbled on the show and I didn't know any of the actors on the show apart from Jemima Osunde and Norbert Young. But now, fast forward 1 year later, or over a year later, and I'm very familiar with the show. I'm a big fan of the show. I've told lots and lots of people about the show. Some of you watching, you heard about the show because of me. And I even know some of the cast members of the show now. We follow each other on Instagram and one of the writers. I say all this to say that I feel very connected to the show at this point. So doing a review now of Season 2 is going to feel a bit different from when I did the review of Season 1, when I didn't know anybody on the show and I just stumbled on this amazing show back then. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. That said, let's begin with Les Performances. Now, it's a large cast this season and there are like 12 performances that I want to highlight, right? And so as not to omit anyone or pronounce anyone's name incorrectly, I have my notes in front of me. So if you see me glancing down, I'm looking at my notes. I'll begin with my favorite character and my favorite actress on the show, Ame Aiyejina, who plays Zizi. And Ame did a fantastic job playing Zizi this season. I didn't think we'd see a different side to Zizi because in Season 1, Zizi is this very stern babe who works this security job and she has this relationship with Kazim. She takes care of her grandfather. But in Season 2, everything with Zizi is turned on its head. She lost her grandfather at the end of Season 1. She ended the relationship with Kazim at the end of Season 1. And also, she changes jobs at the beginning of this season. So because of all that, we see a different side to Zizi. We see a more vulnerable Zizi. And I liked it. I didn't expect it, but I really liked it. And kudos to Ame for doing a fantastic job and letting us see a different side to Zizi. I also like how she was a good half-sister to Badria. I even forgot that they were, is it step-sisters or half-sisters? Speaking of Badria, Nora Ego, who plays Badria, aka Badi, also good, or really good character development, I should say, with Badria, because in Season 1, Badria is this babe who is about that social media life. She's an influencer. She just cares about the likes and her public image on social media. But after what she's gone through at the hands of her monster of a husband, Sadiq, I think her eyes have opened and she has a new outlook on life and she sees, or she's starting to understand what really matters. And all that flash and that social media lifestyle is irrelevant. And she kind of matures in Season 2 and I really liked seeing it. And I was really worried about Badria. I thought she would stay throughout the season in that marriage because of the nice things that she would get from Sadiq. But I was really pleasantly surprised to see that she essentially left him and hopefully she doesn't go back. Next, let's look at Maryam Booth's performance as Hanifa. Maryam Booth plays a pregnant woman really well, and I like how she's this happy-go-lucky pregnant woman, finds out the sex of her child, and she's in marital bliss with her husband, Amadu, because they've sorted out their differences at the end of Season 1, and now they're really open with one another, they're vulnerable with one another, and she's happy. She seems to be like the happiest of the girls on Season 2. Unfortunately, things don't end too well for her, apparently. At the end of Season 2, they gave us that cliffhanger. It's not for sure that Hanifa is no more. Let's not jump to conclusions. I think that's quite risky for them to kill off Hanifa. But I think Miriam's performance as Hanifa was really, really good. I really enjoyed her performance as well, particularly because of the dynamic between her character, Hanifa, and Mr. Rikadawa Rabiu Mohammed's character, Amadu, who is Hanifa's husband. Moving on to Jemima Osunde, who plays Naima. This season, they lean into Naima's substance abuse and the interfaith relationship that she has with Matthew. And it was good to see. It was good to see how they gave us something different with Naima. I think in season 1 they did tackle the substance abuse a bit, but this season they lean more on the substance abuse and her relapsing, and her interfaith relationship with Matthew, which was quite interesting, particularly when an older Muslim lady sits Naima down and tells her, I was going to say the pros and cons, but it looked like she just told her the cons of a Muslim woman marrying a non-Muslim man, right? That was a bit of an education, even for me. There are so many things about that dynamic that I didn't know about, and I think that was an educational moment for many of us who watched this season of Beyond the Veil. But Jemima did a really good job. I saw something on was it her Insta stories or something that she tweeted about how the characters she's been playing lately are trying to attack her lungs, because her character in Water and Gary smoked a bit, and also her character in this series Beyond the Veil smoked as well. So I think Dr. Jemima is worried about her lungs at this stage. Habiba Tanko Zock-Sock, who plays Suraya, the snake of the show. And when the series started, or the season started, I was like, please, let Suraya be a better person this season, right? But Suraya was actually worse this season, in my opinion, because not only was she chasing a man who didn't have any interest in her, she was also using black magic on him, or trying to use black magic on him. She was counterfeiting beauty products in somebody else's beauty store or spa. She was also giving out information about Badria's failed marriage to blogs and whatnot. She was essentially just a terrible friend and worker. And I don't know, Suraya, I look forward to seeing how people will trust Suraya in season 3, or if she'll come back at all in season 3. She probably will. How, I do not know, because Suraya has dropped the ball so many times. But kudos to Habiba for playing Suraya so well. Habiba is another person who on her social media had to tell fans of the show that, look, there is Suraya and there's Habiba. They're two separate people. People should stop attacking her, Habiba the actress, because of the character she plays. Let's talk about some of the female newcomers this season on the show. Tope Olowoniyan, who plays Bilkis. She's the first wife, or the senior wife, that is married to Sadiq. And first of all, shout out to Tope. I always talk about how diverse an actress Tope is. Tope speaks Hausa, and many people don't know, but she was raised in Kaduna. She said that on Instagram or on her socials not long ago, and it's to her credit that she has that experience, because of it she can speak Hausa, and she's open to more roles because of that skill, right? She played the Hausa wife, or the northern wife, really well, and especially seeing as she was caring and affectionate and looking out for Badria, knowing fully well the kind of husband that both of them were married to. Tope did a really good job portraying Bilkis. Next, there's Ijapari Ben-Hirki, who plays Maryam, who is betrothed to or engaged to Kazim, who has now broken up with Zizi. Shout out to Ijapari, because I follow her, and on her stories she reposts lots of people who give her a shout out, who applaud her for playing Maryam. And Maryam was a very interesting young lady. Clearly she wanted to take things further with Kazim in terms of them getting married or planning their marriage, but she wasn't forceful about it. She wasn't bitter. She wasn't adamant. It didn't seem like it was a do or die affair, but we all could see that this was something that this young woman really wanted, especially seeing as Kazim didn't seem to be on board. He seemed to be stalling, but eventually Kazim comes around and their love and their romance flourishes, and I think we were all quite happy for Maryam, especially seeing as Maryam doesn't seem to be an evil person or a bad person. Anyone that is not really siding Maryam is only doing so because they want Kazim to end up with Zizi. But Ijapari did a fantastic job. She really looked the part. Her outfits were on point, her makeup was on point, her performance was on point, and I think many of us are looking forward to seeing her again in season 3 and to see how things pan out in that love triangle between Kazim, Zizi, and Maryam. Caleb Richards plays Kazim, pretty much the leading man on this show, and we got to see a bit more emotion from Kazim on this season, if you ask me, because we see him trying to win Zizi back, but that doesn't work, and we see him getting closer to Maryam, and we see him being a kind and loyal brother to Naima, and also trying to be a good son. So I think Caleb did a really good job this season, and we got to see a bit more from Kazim, and we got to learn a bit more about the guy. Next, Yakubu Mohammed, who plays Sadiq. And I've seen a few of Yakubu Mohammed's movies or series where he's like the villain. I don't think I've hated a character he has played more than this character Sadiq on this show, Beyond the Veil. He's just so good at it. I have a question for you guys. On this show, which character do you hate more, Sadiq or Suraya? Which one of them irritated you more? For me, I think it was Sadiq. I really couldn't stand that guy. Yeah, he did a good job. And his dynamic with Badria, his latest wife, it was interesting to see. And it's painful to know that there are people in real life who are in those kind of toxic and abusive situations. It was also interesting to see Sadiq's dynamic with his first wife, Bilkis, played by Temitope Olowoniyan. I thought that she would get the same treatment that Badria would get, but interestingly enough, no, he seems to treat Bilkis better than he treats Badria. But you know, people with that kind of mindset, monsters like that, who knows how their brains work. But shout out to Yakubu Mohammed for doing such a good job playing Sadiq. Next, Rikadawa Rabiu Mohammed, who plays Amadu, who is the husband of Hanifa. Best character development this season, or best growth for me this season, especially from the male characters, because at the end of season 1, like I said, him and his wife Hanifa, they're more open with one another. They iron out their differences. She learns that he's not cheating because she thought he was cheating. They're vulnerable. He opens up to her about what's going on in his life, right? And that just solidified their love and made them get closer to each other. And I'm glad that in season 2 we get to see them enjoying marital bliss and enjoying this new chapter of their marriage. That scene where I think it was Hanifa's birthday and they're having dinner, and then all of a sudden Amadu he tells Hanifa, his wife, that he loves her, and she says, "I love you too, Rabiu." Sorry, "I love you too, Amadu." It was very touching. It was very touching. I was like, I posted on my Insta stories, my ship. But yes, shout out to Mr. Rikadawa Rabiu Mohammed for playing Amadu. One of my favorite characters this season, hands down. Moving on to Vincent Olugu, who plays Matthew. I like that we got to see more of Vincent this season, right? And it was interesting to see what Matthew was trying to do. He was trying to be there for his girlfriend Naima. He stays in Abuja for a little bit. He's meant to go back to Lagos, but he keeps on postponing it because Naima is not in the best frame of mind at that point in time. She's relapsing and she just doesn't seem very stable. Plus, he wants to move their relationship forward and get her to meet his family. So it was interesting to see Matthew trying to get closer to Naima when it seemed like Naima herself wasn't too sure. She seemed to be on the fence because she doesn't want to disappoint her family. I think she also wants to stay true to her faith and find a good Muslim guy. Yeah, it was interesting to see Matthew trying to grasp at straws to save or salvage this relationship. Moving on to Tariq, played by our brother from Water and Gary, Andrew Bunting. He plays Tariq, this guy that Zizi is trying to use to get over Kazim. And I think Andrew did a really good job. He seemed like a sweet guy, and you know, he's trying to get to know Zizi and for them to be a thing. But I think both of them rushed into that relationship too quickly. It's not like Tariq was a bad guy or Zizi is a bad person. I think they just rushed, and I think Zizi really should have dealt with her feelings for Kazim before jumping into a relationship with someone else. I didn't see women complaining about his performance. So, because it's tricky when you cast that kind of character, you know, a new love interest, you know, to oppose somebody like Kazim, who the audience already really likes. Introducing somebody new, it can be tricky, but I think there are some people who actually liked Tariq, played by Andrew Bunting, and I think personally he did a good job. Impressive performances once again from the cast of Beyond the Veil for season 2. Hey, what's up my people? Quick one, please like this video by clicking on the like button and subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. Most of you watching have not done either of those things, so please do them. If you're really enjoying this video, be sure to share it with somebody who you feel will enjoy it as well. Thank you if you've done those things or plan to do those things. Now let's head back to the video. Ce que j'ai aimé. Now let me try and breeze through the things that I liked on this season of Beyond the Veil because there's so many things, right? First of all, the captivating story and the brilliant writing. The writing this season, like last season, was really good. Shout outs to the writers of the show, Brenda Obuka Garba, and someone who is now my friend, or who's been my friend for a little while on Instagram now, Sifa, Asani, Gowon. Shout out to you ladies, right? I also liked the performances and the cast. The cast worked really well together once again, very cohesive, everyone gelled, everyone brought their A game, and it was just really fantastic. Number 3, I liked the cinematography. Like last season, the camera angles were really good, the shots were really well composed, everything looked so lush and fantastic this season as well. To be honest, season 1 looked more glossy and more sophisticated. We got more of the luxury lifestyle in season 1, not so much in season 2. Maybe it was intentional, but still was really good. The establishment shots were good, angles were good, cinematography generally was really good. A special mention to, or for a particular time lapse shown in one of the episodes. I can't remember which one, but they do a time lapse of like a portion of Abuja, and they do this effect where the buildings and the cars look like toys. And that was brilliant, and it was a day to night type of time lapse, and that's not an easy thing to accomplish, to leave a camera, you know, in a spot in Nigeria and have a really good composition and let it go from day to night. And I have to say that was the best time lapse that I've seen from Nollywood, hands down. I can't think of any other time lapse that I've seen from in a Nollywood production better than that one. It was beautiful. Anyway, moving on, the makeup and the outfits were really good. Special shout out to the makeup, because there are times when some of the ladies were on screen and I'm looking at them and I'm like, the makeup is fantastic, particularly with Ame's character Zizi, because Zizi is not the kind of person that does heavy makeup, you know, the character, right? But I was looking at, you know, Ame, particularly once the scene where she has the milkshake and Tariq like cleans the milkshake up off her lip. Her makeup was fantastic in that scene. Also, the first scene that we see her in this season where she reports to the superior officer's office, her makeup was looking flawless in that scene. And the other ladies as well. Everyone's makeup was on point. Once again, I said it on my Insta stories. I'll say it again now. Special shout out to the makeup department and the makeup artists on this production. Chef's kiss. What I also liked was the dynamic between Hanifa and Amadu, you know, this married couple who are expecting a child, and they're now they're in a better place than they were in season 1, and you could feel the love, you could feel just all the emotions, and it was just really nice. Even talking about them now, you can see how I'm smiling. I loved the fact that their love was growing, and that Amadu was becoming this emotionally vulnerable and emotionally accessible man, and it was reciprocated, and their family was just thriving. So yeah, I really liked that about this season, and I don't think I'm going to accept the fact that Hanifa, or the possibility rather, that Hanifa is no more. She has to come back, and that love and that marriage has to thrive in season 3. I liked the social issues that were addressed this season, from domestic abuse with Badria and Sadiq. I liked that they addressed substance abuse as well. I like that they addressed interfaith marriages in a somewhat unique way. And just generally with interfaith marriages, watching the dynamic between Naima and Matthew, it just shows how there's a lot to be considered when people of two different faiths are considering starting a life together or settling down together. Oh yes, regret and heartbreak. And this is in terms of Zizi and Kazim, and how, you know, Zizi regretted her actions of, you know, turning Kazim down. And now at the end of the season, we see that she wants him back when she leaves that note on his door, but it seems like Kazim has moved on. And there was a powerful lesson there in that I think it's best that people when they leave a relationship or when they break up with someone, they spend some time understanding what happened and figuring themselves out before running into the arms of someone else or jumping into another relationship, because I think that's a mistake that Zizi made. In conclusion, I really enjoyed season 2 of Beyond the Veil, and shout out to Nadine Ibrahim and her cast and crew for doing such a fantastic season 2. And to be honest, I was kind of worried. I didn't think season 2 would be at par with season 1. To be honest, because it's rare for a second installment of like a movie or a series or whatever to meet up with the first installment. When you think about it, some films that were really good, like the first one, part 1, or some series or shows, season 1 is really good, but season 2 or part 2 tends to fall off a little bit. So I was worried that Beyond the Veil would suffer the same fate, but fortunately it didn't. It was a really good, solid season, and I really enjoyed it. And the way the season ended, I mean, with so many cliffhangers. First of all, with Sadiq getting abducted, and with Bilkis finding those documents under the bed, and Badria receiving a phone call. I suspect that Badria is the one that got people to abduct Sadiq. That may be it. I don't know. Also with Hanifa and the baby, and of course Zizi trying to get back with Kazim and leaving a letter, a whole letter on his door. I was like, why didn't you just send him a message on WhatsApp or an SMS? Or you knew where he was. He was at his mother's birthday. Why not go and confront him there? Why leave a whole ass letter on the man's door? But that was a shock, because I don't know, Zizi always came off as a bit of a feminist, and I know that leaving a take me back letter on a man's door is not the kind of thing that a feminist would do. Anyway, I really enjoyed season 2 of Beyond the Veil. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Shout out once again to those of you who found the show or learned about the show because of me or because of my review of season 1. I guess we will have to wait for season 3. Let's all be patient for season 3, because it seems as if in order to get this level of quality, especially in Nigeria, you need to wait a bit. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do me a favor and like this video by clicking on the like button, and subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button just underneath this video. On this channel, I mainly do movie reviews. I want to start doing some other things, but I'm trying to figure it out. This is actually the first video I'm putting out in June, and this is like the second half of June. It's been a challenging month, I have to say, but yeah, it's because I'm trying to get back on track and to do some new things, and hopefully I can achieve them and get back on track like I said. Thank you guys once again. Do remember to like the video if you haven't. Some of you still haven't clicked on that like button. Click on it. Share this with anyone who you feel may enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys in my next review. Peace.